Do you wish the audio on your VR headset or your headphones could be better? Well, we might have the solution. Now, if you're like me and you're doing a lot of multiplayer VR gaming, or even just on Pancake with your headphones, and you're not happy with your microphone that's come with your headphones or VR headset, and let's face it, most of the VR headsets these days, even the latest model Pimax Crystal Super, the microphone's subpar. Now, it does the trick, but if you're wanting to live stream, you're wanting to record your footage, you're wanting to upload videos to YouTube like I am, or you just wish that you could get rid of those popping sounds and make your microphone that little bit better, I might have the solution for you. Now, just recently, the team at Antline Audio reached out and actually sent me these two microphones. So we've got the ModMic Wireless, and we've also got the ModMic USB. So I think the USB is pretty straightforward. This one is going to be more suited to people that are sitting in a sim rig. They're not really worried about moving around too much, or maybe you're just sitting at your desk. You're in VR, you're playing some of the modded games. This could be a nice, cheap solution. But if you're like me and you want it to be fully wireless so I can move around freely, and I just like the convenience of being able to have less cables where possible, I think the ModMic Wireless is going to be the way to go. Now, we've got three headsets we're going to be testing this on. We've got the new Pimax Crystal Super. My friend Andrew lent that to me. If you've not seen the review video on that headset, I'll put a link up the top here. So we're going to test out the difference between audio native and audio with the ModMics. We'll be testing both ModMics on the Pimax Crystal Super, the Pimax Crystal Lite, and also the Qust 3 headset. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Share these videos with all your crazy friends. The VR gods are watching. Right, first headset. Let's open up the USB 2 headset and have a look and see what we've got. So these are brand new in the box. Got a nice little case here. And I just love the name, Antline. It's so cool. But this is really nice. I like this little packaged pouch that this comes in. Oh, that is looking really, really nice, because you might not want to keep this attached all the time. So I like that you can actually pack this up. You might even have a gaming laptop and you want to take that stuff with you, so you can pack this up in its little case. So we'll just move that out of the way, and already this is an incredibly high quality piece of equipment. I can just tell by the feel of it. And it looks like it's sticking on by some adhesive there. And I like that we've got a little mute button there by the looks of things. So that's nice and quick and easy to mute. And that is looking really, really good. So a decent length cable there as well. We'll get into all those specs shortly. And it looks like we've actually got the USB-A to USB-C adapter. So that's handy for anyone potentially that is using a gaming laptop and doesn't have any USB-A ports, or you just want to utilize the USB-C port. And then in this bag here, this looks like really the attaching hardware. So we've got some cable management there. We've got an alcohol wipe to clean down the surface, and we've got some little pads there. Now, I absolutely love the mounting solution. So let's check it out. We can very easily remove this magnetic base, and then that is purely going to snap directly onto the boom. So you can very easily remove it, and that is a nice firm fit. Wow, that is a really nice magnet. And we've got some included 3M adhesive patches, so you've got some opportunities to remove it. Plus, here's a second one. So, you know what? They've catered for people like myself, where my normal headset configuration is to run two headsets. I've got the Pimax Crystal Lite. That's for my sim rig. That's for when I'm really doing the hardcore visuals. But then I've got the Qust 3, which I love for my stand-up. So I love that they've included two of those adhesive magnetized bases that you can stick onto your headsets. Okay, now the piece de resistance. We are looking at the ModMic Wireless. Now, this is my preferred microphone boom. I'm really liking what I am seeing here. So let's get into the box. Very similar to the last one. Love the name Antline. Really nice cases too. These are a really nice feeling hard case. They're kind of like a soft hard case. I mean, that's a bit of an oxymoron of a thing to say, but you know what I mean? Okay, read this. Your ModMic Wireless comes with a USB extension cable and a cable anchor. Use these to keep your wireless receiver in line of sight so you can tell when it is muted or low on battery. Smart. Okay, I like that. So I'm assuming there's no audio interface to tell you that you're muted. So rather than chasing your tail and thinking you've got a problem, might be handy to keep that visually in eyeshot, but we will test all of that out. Quality, quality, quality. So we can obviously bend and articulate that into whatever position we want. So we've got the nice sponge. So we're just going to pull that off and have a quick look at the actual microphone itself. Okay, so I'm assuming that might be our mute, or it might even be on that push button there. We'll check all that stuff out. We'll get that little tiny wind sock back on the boom. Okay, so we've got our Bluetooth button there. We've also got some status lights. They sort of show that on the box there. So we'll figure out what all that stuff is, but I'm assuming Bluetooth is connected, red is muted. Not sure what yellow is, but we'll get in and check all of that stuff out. And yeah, got the same quick connection there. So I'm assuming feels like the same magnetized quick connect. Okay, so we've just got some instructions there. Okay, nice. So that looks like our USB transceiver, and that's obviously what's going to be plugging into the computer. So that's USB A, and we've got a USB A to USB, looks like, it's micro USB. So it's a shame that that's not USB-C in this day and age, but, not a deal breaker. But I'm assuming that is obviously going into, so that's going in to charge the ModMic there. But USB-C would be something nice to see on that connection type there. And what have we got here? We just really got an extension cable. So USB female A to USB A male, just to be able to extend that to where you need. But I like that you've got that charge cable. And from what I've read, I believe that you can use this connected. So at least if you forgot to charge it, you've got a play session going on, you can easily just connect the cable and you're still up and running. And then we got the mounting hardware. So much the same flavor as the previous one. That actually looks like, oh yeah, that makes sense because we've got two there. So the other one was already mounted. So same again, you've got two of those quick magnetized connections, and we've got some additional adhesive and a little bit of cable management there that they spoke about so that you can actually keep that device in earshot. So let's get these fired up. We're going to connect them to the headsets and we'll do some audio tests.
Okay, Pimax Crystal Super test. We are currently talking through the Pimax Crystal Super's microphone. And look, it's not too bad. It does the job. But in a minute, you'll be absolutely shocked when you hear the difference between the Antline Audio USB microphone. It is night and day. My first critique, though, with the Antline Audio microphone USB variant is the length of the cable. It's only 2 meters. It does say on the box that is for performance, and I'm assuming anything over that is going to cause more latency, but I'd really like to see if they could push that to 3 minimum, but 4 would be ideal. My OCD says I want to sort of loom the cable along the DisplayPort cable of the Pimax headset, and I can't really do that. It's not a deal breaker, but yeah, it would be nice if it could be a little bit longer. So let's switch over to the Antline Audio USB variant so you can hear the difference.
And we're now talking on the Antline Audio USB microphone, and it is night and day. More bass, more warmth. The only thing I will critique with it from a microphone perspective is, I guess it's not a critique, it's just so damn good that you'll get pops and those sorts of noises through the microphone if it is too close. You can already see there the distance I've got it from my mouth. Now what I like with that is your mounting options. You are not going to need to mount this as close to your mouth as you think you do, and there's room to improve this. I could tweak the microphone's positioning a little better, and if I talk like this, Peter's pickled peppers, there might be a little bit of popping coming through. It's not massive, and I've kept my OBS studio open there so you can actually see the levels. There's room to tweak, but what a difference, the warmth in the microphone. We'll switch back to the Pimax Crystal Super's default mic one more time.
And we are now back talking on the Pimax Crystal Super microphone, and it's at that point that you realize how poor a quality the Pimax Crystal microphone is. For the price of the headset, I would love to see them put a better microphone in it. It's fine, it does the job, but it is certainly not going to give you nice quality audio like the Antline Audio USB. And for the money, I am absolutely shocked at the quality of this microphone. Okay, we are testing the Pimax Crystal Super one more time. This time we are testing with the Antline Audio's Bluetooth wireless headset. Now, we are currently talking on the Pimax Crystal Super's default microphone. We are about to switch over to the Antline Audio Wireless headset, so let's switch over now.
And we are now talking on the Antline Audio Wireless. Now, a couple of things with this headset is you do have the mute button just on the side here, and once I get, there we go, would need some muscle memory to remember where that is. We press that button there, that's going to mute it. You could see the color change to red. Plus they suggest to put the little dongle in a place where you can visibly see it. Look, I guess to me, I mean, if I'm in VR, it doesn't really matter, but that's something to note. They do give you an extension cable so you can mount that somewhere that you can see it. Plus with the extension cable, if you are having issues with reception, you can put that in a better spot. But just keep your eye on the light of this while I mute. And you can see that it lights up red. So there is at least some status to that to tell you if your microphone's muted. Now, the other thing as well that the headset does have is, or I should say the microphone has, is noise cancellation. So there's two modes. There's broadcast quality, or then there's the noise cancellation. So we're actually going to test that out. Okay, so we are currently in broadcast mode. There is a little tiny slide switch near the microphone boom. I thought at the beginning of the video that might have been mute, but no, mute is actually on the side here. And all we need to do is, with that little tiny switch, if you flick the switch towards the base of the headset here, that is going to put it into broadcast mode. And if you flick the switch towards the actual microphone, that is going to put it into noise cancellation. So I can actually test that out. We're in broadcast mode at the moment. I'm going to continue talking while I actuate the landing gear on this button box. It's pretty noisy. So you can see what sort of sound is coming through. Now we're going to flick to noise cancellation. Okay, we're in noise cancellation mode and I'm actuating the button box. So I'll let you decide how much you think that is cancelling the noise, and we'll flick back to broadcast mode one more time. And we're back in broadcast mode. So, pretty straightforward. Again, with this particular microphone, you do not need to mount it too close to your mouth. And I really like the fact that this is wireless. It completely eliminates my OCD with wanting to route the cable along there. Plus, I can now move this headset seamlessly between my different headsets, whether I'm doing stand-up VR or whether I'm sitting in the sim rig. And I've got to be honest, when it comes to my YouTube recording and all of the stuff I'm doing, you are going to see way more of this headset because I'm using it all the time. I love the fact that I don't need other microphone setups to get better sound when I'm doing my VR recordings. Okay, so let's switch back to the Pimax Crystal Super one more time so that you can really see the difference. It's night and day when we switch back to the default Pimax Crystal Super's microphone.
And there we are back talking on the Pimax Crystal Super's default microphone. Nothing to sing home about. My gosh, what a difference. It's night and day. Okay, this is the Pimax Crystal Lite Antline Audio USB test. So we are currently talking on the Pimax Crystal Lite microphone. And I'm pretty impressed with the microphone on the Pimax Crystal Lite. So let's now switch over to the Antline Audio USB version and see what we think of the audio difference.
Okay, we are now talking on the Antline Audio USB microphone for the headset. And look, again, I think it's night and day. You can really tell the difference, but it only nudges it out by a bit. It's certainly not as profound as the Pimax Crystal Super. Something else to note is the mute for the microphone on this particular headset, or microphone for the headset, is actually just up on the top here, and that's where I've decided to mount it. So you can just see the little button there, and I find routing the cable up across that top strap and then following my cable management as best it can works really good, because if I want to mute, I can just put my hand up on top, I can press the button there, that's going to mute the microphone, and then I can press it again to unmute. Pretty impressive on this little microphone boom. And something that we'll also do is just test the noise levels with relation to not having noise cancellation on this particular microphone. So we'll just actuate the button box here, and I'll continue talking so that you can make a comparison between the Antline Audio's wireless that does have noise cancellation built into it. Alright, so let's switch back one more time to the Pimax Crystal Lights microphone and see what we think of the difference. We're now talking back on the Pimax Crystal's microphone. Something I thought we would also just test is noise cancellation in regards to the Pimax Crystal's default microphone. So I'm actuating the button box now, and we can just see what we think of the sound coming through the headset. Right, time to test the Pimax Crystal Light microphone. Now, I've got to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised in comparison to the Pimax Crystal Super. Wow, what a difference. And the quality is not too bad. Now we're going to switch over to the Antline Audio, and oh gosh, it's a real tough one, but I'd have to say Antline Audio just nudges the Pimax Crystal Light out in my book. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't use the same microphone for the Pimax Crystal Light, because definitely an improvement over the Pimax Crystal Super, dare I say it. So now let's switch over to the Antline Audio Wireless microphone, and we'll give that a go. And we're now talking on the Antline Audio Wireless. Pretty impressive. And yeah, I have to say, Pimax Crystal Light, not too bad. The audio, though, from the Antline Audio, I think is just noticeably better. Again, you could play with microphone placement and tune the volumes, and we'll also now test out, although it really won't be any different, you wouldn't think, we'll also test out the noise cancellation. So we are currently in broadcast mode, and we will start actuating the button box while I'm talking so that you can hear the difference, and we'll now switch over to noise cancellation, and we are now talking in noise cancellation mode with the lever for the landing gear being actuated. And we'll just switch back to broadcast mode for one more comparison. And we're now back in broadcast mode. So I'll let you be the judge of how much of a difference that makes. But pretty impressed with the Pimax Crystal Light in this test. All right, this is the Antline Audio USB mic test. We're currently talking on the Qust 3 mic. It gets a fair bit of pop and wind noise that gets picked up by the microphone. The placement of it's not the best. So although I don't mind the Qust 3's microphone, it's the pops and the peas, the pop, the pea, Peters, pickle, peppers, that stuff really annoys me. So let's now switch over to the Antline Audio USB microphone and test the difference. And we are now talking on the Antline Audio microphone. Now, placement with the Antline Audio microphone is a must. It's really sensitive, but it has much warmer sounds, and because of that microphone placement, you can at least get the boom out of the way, and you can at least try and avoid the pops and the sounds that you're going to get through it, which you can't avoid with an inbuilt microphone. Cable management here is a little bit finicky. I don't have a Santa strap here, and it's sort of just dangling out to the side. I could tidy that up a bit, but then it does make it annoying when I want to maybe do stand-up VR, and it's just additional jank. I've got to undo the Velcro and remove it and muck around, whereas at least with the wireless one, you can swap headsets on a dime, and you're just not worrying about any of this jank. So I've got the mute button just sort of dangling there, and it certainly functions, and stuff is out of the way, and I've got it sort of looped up into the Pimax Crystal's cable there, so it keeps it off my head and out of the way. So it works, but it is only 2 meters long. That can be a bit frustrating as well, the cable length. So that is, as mentioned before, something I would love to see them change. So now let's also do a noise test. There's no noise cancellation on the Antline Audio USB variant, but we'll test the button box lever. So I'm talking as we are actuating the lever here, and that's the noise test through the Antline USB microphone. Now let's switch back to the Qust 3 so you can hear the difference going from the Antline Audio USB mic to the Qust 3. And we are back now talking on the Qust 3 microphone, and I'll actuate the landing gear lever just for some noise test as I continue to talk so that you can hear the difference between the Antline Audio USB mic and the Qust 3 mic. Okay, we are now testing the Qust 3 microphone. Now, one of the biggest complaints I've got with the Qust 3 microphone is the popping, the pops, the peas, Peter's pickled peppers. It's really bad. And I quite like the microphone. The quality of the microphone sounds good, but wherever the placement is, it's picking up those little pops, and it's really annoying. I've tried all sorts of stuff to tune it out, and it's just really, yeah, it's a real struggle when I'm recording or doing any type of streaming at all. It's just terrible. So. Okay, so now let's switch over to the Antline Audio Wireless and see what we think of that. Okay, we are now talking on the Antline Audio Wireless. What I really like is we can adjust the microphone placement. Now, the Antline Audio, again, the biggest thing as a takeaway is less is more. It is super sensitive. Even with the little windsock on the microphone itself, it will still pick up some pretty heavy pops and peas. If I really try pop, Peter's, pickles, peppers, I can get it to pop and make some noises, but at least you can move that microphone boom to a position that you're happy with. I did struggle finding a good spot though to mount it on my Qust 3 headset. It's heavily modified with the Bobo VR head strap, so yeah, that's something to be aware of. It's a more rounded headset, whereas the Pimax headsets have much squarer edges, so it's easier to get good adhesion. But certainly not a deal breaker, and I found that just on the side there was really the best spot for it. Now we will actually test again the noise cancellation, so let's see what the noise cancellation is like. We are currently in broadcast mode, so I'm just actuating my control panel there with the landing gear so you can hear what it's like, and we'll now switch over to noise cancellation. Noise cancellation is on, and we'll continue actuating the control box with the landing gear. And I'll now switch back to broadcast mode one more time. Okay, we're back in broadcast mode, and I'm actuating the lever on the button box. Now let's switch back to the Qust 3 one more time so you can hear the difference, and then we'll also test out what the noise cancellation's like with the Qust 3 microphone. So we're switching back to the Qust 3 now. Okay, and we're back on the Qust 3 microphone, and we'll try out the button box. I'm just levering the landing gear, and that is the Qust 3 microphone test.
There we go, 3 VR headsets, the latest Pimax Crystal Super, the Pimax Crystal Lite, and the Qust 3, testing out their microphones. It's pretty profound in some instances. And the clear winner for me is the wireless version of the ModMic. They've got 3 different variants on their website. The 2 that I think are most relevant for people will be these ones. We've got the wireless and then the USB cable variant. My only critiques with the Bluetooth wireless version, I guess the micro USB, it would have been good to see that as a USB-C charge cable. Not a deal breaker, but that's kind of universal these days. Yeah, other than that, I really liked the way this was. Noise cancellation on it wasn't massive, but I guess it's enough just to take the edge off it. Your mileage may vary, but overall, this for me is the clear winner. The fact that I can swap and change it between different VR headsets really easily, I like. Plus, if I'm getting in and out of the rig or I'm doing certain things, I want to be able to potentially take this off easily. Cable management with the USB version is a little bit more cumbersome, especially on the Qust 3. I struggled to really find good placement, but that's a pretty modded headset, so your mileage may vary. And then my main critique for the USB version is the length of the cable. It does say on the box that they've done that, I think, for latency, really. Yeah, if we could see a 3-meter cable, or maybe even 4 meters if they can stretch it, that would be ideal. Of course, you could put an extension cable on it. I didn't test that, so I don't know what would happen if you did, but certainly 2 meters for me, sitting in a sim rig with my computer mounted up there and wanting to route it along the DisplayPort cable of the Pimax headset did make it a bit more tricky. So we'll have links to all of this stuff in the description. Let me know what you thought in the comments. And yeah, I'm really impressed with this ModMic wireless version. And I tell you what, all of my videos going forward when I'm in VR are going to be using this bad boy here. So you're going to see more action using this microphone, and hopefully you'll like the sound a bit better. I'll see you in the next video.